Prince William exploded, and can you blame him? Absolutely not. By releasing pictures of Archie and Lily at Althorpe with flowers about to visit Princess Diana's grave for the first time.
Prince William has made a bold, shocking, dramatic move, one that nobody can stop him from doing. With this, he has said, enough is enough. You will not exploit the remains of my dead mother.
Meghan Markle knows what she's doing. Meghan Markle is not a dumb girl. In my opinion, she's a narcissist, she's a sociopath, she understands how the game is played. She was not gonna go to Diana's gravesite and not post a picture. I wanna know who's taking the picture in the black bathing suit. I will also say, because this is why y'all tune into this show, she's not delivering it like Princess Diana, but she must really think she's hot stuff.
This couple who have stooped to disgusting lows in their past, I personally believe hit a new one. And the reason that Prince William is so concerned about this, of course, is that it's just the beginning.
The biggest story this week is not the one making the loudest headlines. The real drama is happening behind closed doors, where the conversations are far colder than the public is being told. According to persistent reports and commentary, Prince William never wanted this reunion to happen in the first place. Not for a brief visit, not for one afternoon, not even for a single moment if it could be avoided. The claim circulating among people who closely follow royal affairs is that he pushed back strongly, believing it would only reopen old wounds. But an ailing father, said to be focused on seeing his grandchildren while he still could, reportedly made a different choice. That decision changed everything. So William stepped aside, even if it was not the outcome he wanted, and allowed the visit to go ahead. Yet one warning.
Charles, you are a legend of Fleet Street. Can you give us a ballpark figure of the value of a photograph of Meghan and the kids back in the UK? What would that go for?
Oh, six figures without a shout.
Wow. He made 2 documentaries with Harry, one for the BBC, one for ITV. It was on the strict understanding that these were to be the final word on their mother's death. 20 years on, 2 brothers who had come through the trauma were able to talk about it, were able to share their feelings and close the chapter. And so, of course, 10 years on, the fact that Harry is now back here commercializing his mother's death is going to upset William. I don't think it surprises him. I think he knew this was coming.
Most definitely. They are now leveraging the kids for clicks, for headlines, to boost their brand, and for money. Why else would you put your kids on Instagram? I got 2 kids, they're grown up. They're not on my social media. I'm not incentivized in any way to share images of my children with the public.
Prince William was consulted. In spite of being a minor, he had a say on where his mother was going to be buried. At the time, he decided that it would be Althorpe because nobody's going to bother her, nor harass her, or exploit her, most importantly. He thought that his mother would finally find peace.
Often repeated in discussions about his views, continued to echo louder than ever. He has long been portrayed as deeply wary of the woman his brother married, believing that once a private royal moment is opened up, it can eventually become something for public display. As the familiar saying attributed to that viewpoint goes, give her 1 inch of this family and she will find a way to hang a price tag on it. Whether people agree or not, supporters now argue that the events which followed only intensified that belief. 10 days later, Meghan Markle walked a camera straight up to Diana's graveside, arranged his mother's memory like a shop window, and served it to 90 million strangers with a little sunshine emoji stuck on the end. And make no mistake, she did not stumble into that picture. She composed it, and then she proved him right in front of the entire world.
As for Prince William, of course he is disgusted because this is one of his, how do you put it, Brittany, real sensitive spots. Like, yes, he does ignore Harry day to day. He doesn't want to talk about Harry. He doesn't want to talk about Meghan. He just wants to get on with things.
So their royal return came with King Charles's blessing. They were so lucky to be allowed back into the United Kingdom, because I can tell you that this government that we have at the moment are trying to to tighten up illegal immigration. And they're trying to keep certain characters out of the country who have no right to be here. And I would include Harry and Meghan as two unwelcome aliens after everything they've done to the country.
Their mouths shut, especially about their meeting. But a lot of people would be really upset if that did come to fruition in the UK specifically. I don't think taxpayers want to pay for the Harry and Meghan circus.
No.
And it's likely very frustrating for them to see that King Charles just met with them.
So spare me the headlines calling the Prince of Wales a bit upset. Look at what is really in front of you. A son made to watch the mother he lost turned into content on the run-up to the 30th anniversary of the worst day of his life by the very woman he warned them all about, and told to stand there and smile through it. They say he is not upset. They say he is done. And this time, I ask you, what is left for the man to forgive with? Let us be clear about what has really happened here, given how carefully the papers are keeping it vague. This is not a man cross about a bit of bad taste. Taste he could survive. This family has swallowed tackier things than a holiday snap and never blinked. What she did here is something else entirely, and everyone who has ever stood within 10 feet of William knows precisely what it is. I kept the ending thought intact, changed the opening construction.
Queen Camilla went to the Harry and Meghan reunion because the king needed a witness to make sure that they couldn't lie about what happened and that they couldn't lie about what was said. That's how low the trust is. So if Harry thinks he's home and hosed with Charles, good luck with that. But the bottom line is that they stuck within the rules. But Meghan gets a picture of Archie and Lily, an extension of her brand, extension of her identity, and it's in England and it's at the Diana estate.
They're under the impression that he might be privy to the plan or a part of the plan.
I think they can soften him up, but I think with William and Camilla together, I think there is absolutely no chance of that happening. I think you'll find the king did it for a good reason, and I'm sure he loved it. I mean, I was reading that they FaceTime all the time. That's fine. But I just think he's probably far more aware of what potentially can go wrong than ever before.
A total betrayal, having promised King Charles that their UK return would be private and discreet. The Sussexes have proved once again that they cannot be trusted, folks. You cannot do business with these people.
Made the first two paragraphs more attention-grabbing and naturally extended the piece without shortening any of the original narrative. For all the criticism aimed at Prince William over the years, people who follow the royal family often point to one boundary they believe he never lets anyone cross. Say what you want about him, question his decisions, criticize his marriage, speculate about his future, or write endless stories about palace tensions, and he is widely seen as someone who will simply carry on without responding. That quiet restraint has long been viewed as part of the role he was raised to play, no matter how personal the attacks become. But the one subject many believe reaches beyond that restraint is his mother. Diana is not simply another chapter in the family's history to him. Her memory carries a weight that, according to those who have watched him for decades, remains deeply personal. The suggestion that private memories connected to her could become part of a public spectacle is, in the eyes of many commentators, the one issue capable of cutting through that calm exterior. That is why so many observers argue this latest controversy struck a very different nerve than the countless headlines that came before it. You will not be getting a statement out of him this week or ever.
Over Prince William's reaction to that, he also alleges that King Charles is even shocked. Well, I'm not sure how shocked King Charles is, to be honest, given he's made this offer for Prince Harry to stay at Buckingham Palace. I think these days Charles just ignores what Harry is doing because he doesn't want to know the reality of quite how low his son, his youngest, has stooped.
I think William completely and utterly respects that. Everything William and his family have done at Althorpe has been completely and utterly private. I don't even think we're aware of a trip they've made there. And I think that's perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong also as well with Harry and Meghan visiting, but commercializing it. I mean, that should just be a glaring warning sign to Charles that Harry and Meghan have no boundaries.
I columned on this over at the Daily Mail over the weekend. That is the nadir for Meghan. I mean, it's the bottom. I mean, just when you think she cannot go lower, she outdoes herself. as I've always said, Meghan's the best at being the worst.
It's so incredibly disgusting, and I can't help but imagine Prince William would be incensed. There's nothing wrong with them visiting Diana's grave, but why did she have to disrespect Harry and her children by posting about it? This is a woman who's claimed for years that all she wants for her family is privacy, and then she commoditizes her children and the memory of her deceased mother-in-law for the world to see.
Kensington does not brief, does not leak, does not slip a friendly little quote out to soften the edges. So everything you are hearing is the read of people who have studied these two brothers for 20 years, and they all land in one spot. He's not sad about this. Something colder than sad. He's finished in a way he has never quite been before. And the silence pouring off that palace is the loudest thing in the whole affair. The damning part is not the photograph. It is why that door was ever open for her to take it. To understand the fury, you have to go back a fortnight into a room at Highgrove that almost nobody was allowed to see. This reunion, the one the whole planet is now fighting about, did not come from some quiet family healing. It came from one man's decision, reportedly made despite the concerns of the son, who, according to long-standing royal commentary, had never fully trusted this path from the very beginning. The king has faced serious health challenges. I will leave his condition there with the respect it deserves and simply acknowledge what many commentators have quietly suggested. A father who has lived through an illness like that naturally begins thinking differently about the time still ahead of him. He looked at grandchildren he had seen once in 4 years, and he decided that pride was a luxury he could no longer afford. He wanted to know those little ones before it was too late to matter, and so he let back in the very pair his elder son had begged him to keep out. And look how carefully he did it. Behind closed doors. No press, no photographs, not a word released to a living soul. By every account, the Queen herself came back specially to sit in that room, a witness, so that not one syllable of what passed could be twisted afterwards into something it was not. That is not the staging of a warm family reunion. That is a wary, unwell man offering the last olive branch he may ever offer, guarding himself with both hands as he does it. Some hard-hold instinct already whispering how it would be repaid. William, so we're told, hated every part of it. Thought the door should have stayed bolted, thought they would take the mercy and turn it into merchandise. And you can hear in the fury this week a man who is not only angry at her, he is angry that he was right, and that being right cost his father this wound. To many watching from the outside, that realization may have been the hardest part of all. It is one thing to fear a particular outcome. It is another to believe you saw it coming, tried to stop it, and then watched events unfold anyway. There is a specific kind of rage a person keeps for the moment they warned everyone, were waved away as bitter, and then had to stand and watch it unfold exactly as they said it would. It took less than 2 weeks for everything, according to critics, to unfold exactly the way Prince William was said to fear. That carefully guarded, deeply private, once-in-a-lifetime afternoon, the reconciliation his ailing father reportedly reached for, despite the personal cost, was before long transformed into the opening image of a polished summer holiday carousel. The king had offered something many believe cannot simply be purchased or recreated, access to one of the world's most private families. And to critics, that rare access appeared to become public far sooner than anyone expected. This is also where the argument that the family should simply be left alone begins to face difficult questions. That photograph was not presented as a blurry, unexpected moment that somehow drifted onto the internet by chance. Many observers argue it looked carefully prepared from beginning to end. Think about everything the public never saw. During the entire visit, there was reportedly no paparazzi image, no distant long lens shot over a hedge, no grainy glimpse of a vehicle, an airport arrival, or the estate itself. For a couple who have frequently spoken about intense media attention, the visit appeared remarkably private from beginning to end, with almost nothing emerging while it was taking place. And then she went on Instagram and served the images to the world herself. The only pictures that exist of that graveside are the precise ones she chose to give us. So look again at what she chose. Look at the children, turned exactly away from the lens. The long avenue of trees, framed like a film poster. Those flowers, set just so. That is not what a phone snap looks like when a grieving family remembers to take one. It is composition. It is a shoot, produced with the same polished, everyone in position, faces to the back approach that has defined many of this couple's carefully presented public moments. And remember who we are dealing with. This is a couple who go to court when a photograph they did not authorize gets out, who have sued more than once over a single long lens frame of their own children. They do not lose control of an image. In 6 years, they never have. So the notion that this one, of all of them at that grave, of all places simply slipped out unplanned, is an insult to anyone who has watched them operate for 5 minutes. You do not get an accidental masterpiece at the most guarded grave in Britain. You get a frame like that when somebody has planned it, walked the ground, and known to the penny what the finished thing is worth. That belief has become one of the biggest talking points surrounding the entire controversy, with supporters and critics drawing completely different conclusions from the very same image, which drags us to the only question that matters now. Worth to whom? Worth for what? Images arranged with that much precision are rarely viewed by critics as something meant to stay tucked away in a private family album. They are often seen as the opening chapter of a much bigger story, carefully prepared long before the audience ever realizes it. That is why so many eyes are already fixed on one date sitting just over the horizon, 31st August 2027, marking 3 decades since the night that changed the royal family forever. It is a milestone many broadcasters, commentators, and documentary makers are expected to revisit because anniversaries of that scale have historically drawn enormous public attention. History has already shown just how valuable stories surrounding Princess Diana remain. Whenever a major anniversary arrives, interest surges once again, and broadcasters compete to revisit her legacy from every possible angle. The last significant Diana anniversary brought documentaries and specials that attracted some of the strongest viewing figures many networks had seen in years. Public fascination with her life has never truly faded, and many believe that reality creates enormous commercial interest whenever another milestone approaches. The public does not tire of her. It never has. And that is a temptation for the right sort of people that sits well beyond taste or shame. So of course the whisper has started, the whisper that will not die no matter how fast the denials fly out, that a certain couple with a great deal to prove and an anniversary ripe for the picking mean to be the ones who tell the Diana story next year, their way, on their own platform, on camera. And this is not idle chatter from the cheap seats. Angela Levin, who has watched this pair up close for years and does not soften a syllable, said it flat. No hesitation. Those graveside pictures in her reading were never a tribute. They were content. The visit itself, she reckons, was the shoot. The whole trip quietly harvested as raw material for the film she believes is coming. Now, is there hard proof of a crew in the trees? No. And there is the beauty of it from her side. You no longer need a crew. You need one immaculate photographer, one flawless frame, and a caption. And there is your teaser, out free to 90 million people, softening the ground for the big one. According to that interpretation, the image functions less as a final moment and more as the beginning of a wider narrative that could continue well beyond a single social media post. She's not mourning Diana. She's developing her story. And if you imagine this is the first time you have not been watching, there is a pattern here, and once it is pointed out to you, you will not be able to stop seeing it. This is a woman who has been reaching for Diana for years. The interviews that borrow her cadence, photo shoots styled frame for frame after Diana's most famous images, right down to a swimsuit on a beach that half the internet matched inside an hour, visits that trace her footsteps. And the story even goes, or so we're told by people who have never let it drop, that she once had herself taken slowly through the very tunnel in Paris. She reaches for the most loved woman this country has produced in a century and drapes herself in her over and over. Whether people accept that interpretation or reject it entirely, it remains a comparison that continues to fuel discussion whenever these moments return to the headlines. To many of her critics, Diana represents the one royal legacy Meghan was never formally given, yet is repeatedly associated with through public comparisons. They argue that this is what makes the debate especially emotional. Only weeks earlier, Meghan had spoken at an event in Geneva honouring children affected by online harms, emphasising the importance of protecting young people from unnecessary exposure. Children, she said, are not data points. Yet critics argue that sharing images of her own children during such a personal family visit sends a conflicting message. At the same time, her father has publicly stated that he has never met his grandchildren. That contrast has become part of the wider public debate, with some questioning why one side of the family is included in meaningful moments while the other remains distant. One side of the family gets a pilgrimage, a photographer, and a caption. The other gets a locked door, and you are still expected to file all of this under love. And do not imagine the public is being fooled by a second of it. Recent polling has shown Meghan's approval ratings remaining well below those of the Prince and Princess of Wales, adding more fuel to an already heated public discussion. People can spot what they believe is carefully staged emotion from 100 miles away, or so many commentators claim. So come back at the last to the man at the window, the one saying nothing at all. Understand who William really is in this story. The coverage keeps shrinking him to a bystander sulking in the wings. Yet many see something very different. He is the only person in this entire saga who lived through the original events firsthand. As a boy, he watched his mother become one of the most photographed and relentlessly pursued women in the world. He experienced the pressure of constant public attention from closer than almost anyone else could imagine. He then spent much of his adult life building what many see as the complete opposite approach: privacy first. The carefully controlled family photographs released on his own terms, the limited public appearances of his children, and the effort to shield his wife from relentless attention all reflect that philosophy. A grief kept behind a wall on purpose, so nobody could ever again sell tickets to it. It was no accident. It was the deliberate work of the one man alive who knows exactly what the alternative looked like from the inside. For those who see this through Prince William's perspective, this is not a new story at all. It is one he believes he has already lived once before. He understands what relentless public attention can become because he experienced its consequences firsthand. And many commentators argue that those memories continue shaping how he approaches every deeply personal moment involving his family today. Now, from that point of view, he is watching his mother's memory become part of another public conversation. To critics, that is especially painful because they remember the image of two young brothers walking behind Diana's coffin together, united in grief. They believe that shared experience created an unspoken promise to protect her legacy with dignity. Whether others agree with that interpretation or not, many royal watchers argue that this explains why there has been no public response from William and why they do not expect one anytime soon. There are simply no words for this clean enough to print. So let me say it plainly, the thing this whole polished, sun-dappled carousel was built to keep you from saying out loud. This was never a tribute. A tribute does not arrive with a product behind it and an anniversary on the clock. According to critics, this became another attempt to connect with the one royal name that still captures worldwide attention. They argue that the timing, the imagery, and the presentation were never viewed as random choices. Instead, they see them as carefully selected pieces of a much broader public narrative, one designed to generate discussion long after the original photographs were shared. And the cruelest turn of the whole thing is the timing of the kindness. An unwell grandfather set aside his own son's warnings and his own wounded pride to let them in, wanting only to know his grandchildren before the chance was gone for good. The thanks he got inside a fortnight was to watch that private mercy repackaged as promotion for the very brand that needs his mother's name to breathe. William saw all of it coming. He said so out loud to the one man who could have kept the door shut, and he was waved away as bitter. Now he is the one left standing in the wreckage, sitting on a silence that has finally completely run out of forgiveness. They keep asking whether Meghan went too far this time. Wrong question. She went exactly as far as she meant to. The only thing left to settle is what the brother does about it now, and whether a family that keeps letting her back through its door has the faintest idea what it will cost them the next time she walks in. Whatever happens next, the conversation surrounding trust, privacy, and family boundaries is unlikely to disappear anytime soon. Instead, many believe it has only entered a new chapter, with every future encounter certain to be viewed through the lens of everything that has already happened. Now it's your turn. Do you believe Prince William has reached the point where forgiveness is no longer possible? Or do you think old family wounds are still shaping every decision? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I genuinely want to know where you stand, and I read as many comments as I can. If you enjoyed this video and want more thoughtful discussions like this, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss what's coming next. We've got much more to cover, including a closer look at the public comparisons to Princess Diana, how those moments have evolved over the years, and why they continue to spark such intense debate. You won't want to miss the next video, so stay tuned.